Well, the eviction crisis has already gotten started. The official moratorium for federally backed loans and properties ended yesterday on July 24th. One of my favorite strategists and economists, David Rosenberg, tweeted out the following, quote, "As everyone focuses on eroding U.S.-China relations, the start of baseball, and the fiscal shenanigans in Washington, a crisis begins today. It's called the eviction crisis. As the 4-month moratorium ends and the nation's landlords unite, over 12 million renters/mortgage borrowers are at risk." It actually could be much worse than what he's saying there, but we're going to talk about that and more. Hey everybody, my name is JJ. You're watching Bull Boom Bear Bust. It is Saturday, July 25th, 2020. Thank you for joining me. How bad is this going to get? Well, let's take a look at some information. I pulled up a number of resources and articles today. There's already local moratoriums that have ended. Take a look at this article here out of Wall Street Journal. Over in Houston, evictions are mounting. Courts in Houston are overloaded with eviction filings after local moratorium expired in May. End of the federal protections could lead to more, and yes, that's what just happened yesterday. The federal protections have now been pulled away. So bulls and bears, this is going to be an absolute nightmare unless something is put in the place of these moratoriums. And a smart thing, if you're a landlord, a smart thing would be to work with your tenants, because you could evict your tenant and then not find anyone else to come take the place of that tenant and end up with a vacant property, or end up with no income versus partial income. So landlords are going to have to be smart on this and look at the supply-demand equation. If people are out of work and they don't have money, you just have to lower your price. It's pretty simple. The problem is a lot of these landlords have carrying costs with their mortgages, maintenance, taxes. We already see the courts are backed up in Houston, so people are not being kicked out onto the street. Even though the local eviction moratorium has ended, and I'm sure we're going to see an uptick in homeless. I don't think it's going to be the millions of people on the street like some people are predicting. And I actually still think that something big is going to come out of Washington very, very soon, because the officials are the quote-unquote leaders right now in Washington. They're going to be blamed for this on both sides if something doesn't get done. So I expect new sweeping reforms to come in probably between now and November. Would not surprise me at all. And the number of renters possibly that are going to be evicted, 28 million. Now 28 million, of course, that's a lot, but to look at the magnitude of this, let's go to urban.org. So 1 in 4 U.S. rentals are federally financed rentals. So this is going to hit both sides, landlords and tenants alike. The landlords, a lot of them again have mortgages. So the eviction disaster could bleed over into a foreclosure disaster. Okay? Now right now, none of this is happening, or none of this is visible, I should say, because the housing market is very strong. Sales have ticked back up. Home prices have actually ticked back up as well. And if you look at the numbers from June, we have a 13-year high in home sales. And just in the month of June, 776,000 new single-family houses were sold. And that marked the largest amount since July 2007, when seasonally adjusted. Now that's pretty remarkable considering the very low supply of homes that we have on the market. Just in our last video we talked about the magnitude of the number of sellers that took their home off the market at the beginning of this pandemic shutdown. And what we're seeing here is a lot of upper income people making $75,000 or more, which we also talked about in our last video. A lot of people are buying second homes out of the city and further out into the country, into the mountains, and away from the chaos and the dangers of living in the city, especially here recently. And if people aren't moving out of their current home, they're just buying a second home to have a quote-unquote getaway property. Now the unrest that we're seeing now was sparked by the events that unfolded out of Minneapolis. We all know that. That was a tragic event. But as predicted, it quickly is unfolding into much more than just being about the corrupt police. It is about now financial matters. For example, here's an article shows what's going on in Baltimore. There's people driving by the mayor's house saying to cancel the rent. So if you think the unrest that we're seeing right now, and if you think the anger is at its peak, I think we need to prepare for things to get much, much worse. When these evictions start kicking in, and when the court cases start getting cycled through, and we start seeing people have to find a new place to live, maybe on the street, maybe in a tent, maybe at a shelter, maybe in a vehicle, maybe moving in with the relatives. We'll have to see. But regardless, the anger against the financial elites is going to get very, very bad. Much worse than you're seeing right now, and it's going to get much more dangerous. Look at all the crime rates that have happened in the cities. Crime rates exploding because a lot of people, again, are unemployed, out of work. Now they're going to have to find new places to live. Millions and millions of people. This could get even far, far worse than we're seeing right now. And I don't think the media is properly warning people about it. I think we need to be extra prepared, extra cautious. Another article here talking about this. This is out of sfgate.com. Oakland mayor's home vandalized with defund the police and cancel rent. So this is getting serious. This is getting major. They're vandalizing and graffitiing people's homes, including the mayor. And remember, let's go back a couple years on this channel. We've been talking about this for a long time. We said prepare. There's going to be massive civil unrest. We didn't know it was going to be a pandemic that was going to tip this over, but we did know this was coming because so many people have a lot of debt and not much income and not much savings at all. So people are going to feel the pain, and all we can do, we can't save the world, but we can just try to be prepared. Look out for yourself, look out for your family, your loved ones, your friends. Let's try to help each other. If you have neighbors, if you haven't met them, maybe try to meet them. I try to talk to all my neighbors. Go out jogging, I go out walking, I talk to as many people in the neighborhood as I can. Now, going back a couple years on this channel, again, people were making fun of us. They said, oh, I was the crazy prepper economist guy. People look at prepping and economy as two separate things. They shouldn't be looked at as two separate things. They're the same thing. Knowing what's going on with the economy is preparing. Prepping is just a short word, a short term for preparing, preparation, prepping. Prepare for things to get worse financially in this country. Prepare for the dollar to get more and more devalued. Prepare for millions and millions of people to be absolutely devastated and very mad. And your guess is as good as mine what's going to happen. We've already seen the beginning of it. I don't think we've seen the worst of it yet. Right? Again, it's so much more than just a uprising against the police. Right? Very, very bad things are happening in this country, and it's been brewing for a long, long time. They've kept it afloat. They've kept it from falling apart with easy money, liquidity injections, rescuing the banks, endless debt. And I've said it before, but the name of it is lending, spending, and pretending. All these people living on debt, looking like they're living a very nice life, new cars, going out to fancy restaurants, going out to clubs, buying all the new releases there, buying all the latest electronics, the latest iPhones. But when you dig just a little bit deeper, as we've been doing here for many, many years, you find out that the economy is based on debt. Most people are doing this on debt. And now it is hitting the fan. And there's so many Americans dependent on a handout in this country. That's why we're going to be one of the most dangerous countries to be in as this economic collapse situation, this financial Armageddon, continues to unfold. And there was a recent study, this was put out by NY Post, U.S. ranked among worst countries to raise a family. So a lot of people saying, oh, the U.S. is the best country in the world, the greatest place to live. Well, maybe, or maybe not. If you've never left the country, you might not really know. But here's what the study uncovered. To determine the most and least family-friendly countries, there was a rating of 35 OECD countries. That's the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, according to safety, happiness, cost, health, education, and time. The U.S. clocked in at an abysmal 34th place, just ahead of last place finisher Mexico. So we are second to the worst in the countries that are under this 35 country organization. Here's just a few examples. The study noted that the U.S. is the only country that doesn't require employers to offer maternity leave. Even worse, the average household blows 31.79% of their income on child care compared to 4 and 10% spent by other countries in Scandinavia. Also, America's global safety rating, which was, according to the research, the second worst, also only behind Mexico. Okay, folks, hold on to your self-defense units. Will this go into hyperinflation? I don't know. Will it go into deflation? Maybe. Maybe we'll see a combination of both. Maybe we'll see home prices start coming down eventually. once the safety nets are pulled away, once the landlords have to start paying their mortgages without rental income or lower rental income. It's anyone's guess how this is going to unfold. Let me know what you think down in comments. This is uncharted territory, unprecedented. We've never been here before in this country. Worldwide shutdown, economic collapse, financial Armageddon, everybody. Thanks for watching this update. Let me know again what you think down in comments. Thank you so much for being here, for your support. Bye for now.